Aled is chatting with musical legend Nile Rodgers, and there's a performance from Paul and Jackie from the beautiful South. Don't miss Weekend here on ITV. That's straight after the latest news.
Good morning, I'm Sally Biddulph. Residents living in the shadow of Grenfell Tower have been told they will not have to pay rent on their properties until January next year at the earliest, after being crippled by a lack of utilities. 3 buildings nearby have been without hot water since the neighbourhood's boiler, which is located beneath Grenfell Tower, was destroyed in the fire. Robin Dwyer reports.
Beneath Grenfell Tower, ever more flowers and messages of grief. For those that live in its shadow, more worry about paying rent on homes they've been forced to leave. The buildings below, known as the finger blocks, have been without hot water since the neighbourhood boiler was destroyed in the fire on the 14th of June. Kensington and Chelsea Council have now confirmed rent has been suspended for those forced to leave their homes. It said, this group of residents have suffered a huge disruption to their lives as they were evacuated from their homes. They will not have to pay rent from the date of the fire until end of January 2018, when we will review the situation. If any resident has had a direct debit or standing order payment for their rent taken, this will be refunded. Hot water is expected to be restored in the coming week, and the council will continue to provide temporary accommodation for those who don't want to go back. But local campaigners say what's been done so far for survivors and local residents is not enough.
It's almost a minimum standard kind of package that they've given them. These people should be given a premium package and be treated with dignity and respect. Okay, not left to kind of fend for themselves. It's disgusting behaviour. It's very poor.
As plans come together for an inquiry into the disaster, those affected say they may boycott it if the scope isn't widened. The investigation will look at how the fire started and managed to spread so rapidly, but campaign groups want any systemic issues looked at too. After the leader and deputy leader of Kensington and Chelsea Council resigned, the government said it will keep a close eye on it. A new leader will be appointed next week. Robin Dwyer, ITV News.
Number 10 is facing increasing pressure from ministers to scrap the current 1% public sector pay cap. The Environment Secretary, Michael Gove, has today suggested that ministers should listen to pay review bodies, which make recommendations to the government on salaries for public sector workers. In an interview with The Times, he said, "You've got to listen to the public sector pay review bodies. When they make recommendations on school teachers' pay, I think I always accepted them. My colleagues who deal with these pay review bodies would want to respect the integrity of that process." The government has announced it's withdrawing the UK from an arrangement which allows foreign countries to fish in British waters. Ministers claim the move would take back control of fishing access to UK seas. Currently, vessels from France, Belgium, Germany, Ireland and the Netherlands are allowed to fish within 12 nautical miles of the UK's coastline. Protests are expected to begin in Hamburg today ahead of the G20 summit. Around 20,000 police officers are being drafted into the city before the meeting of heads of states, which starts on Friday. Chancellor Angela Merkel has urged protesters to be peaceful. Time now for a look at the Sunday papers, and The Independent says the right wing of the Labour Party is trying to rein in its leader, Jeremy Corbyn. The Mail runs with another political story suggesting the Tories may consider scrapping university tuition fees to woo young voters. The Express turns to Brexit, saying the UK will reclaim a 12-mile zone of waters around its coast where no foreign boats can fish. The Telegraph stays with Brexit, claiming the Prime Minister is prepared to walk out of negotiations with the EU over a possible so-called divorce bill to leave. And The Times has an exclusive investigation into the conduct of the SAS in Afghanistan. It alleges that evidence has been covered up about a unit killing unarmed civilians. And finally, after a 10-year break, the World Championship office chair race has made a comeback. Huge crowds turned out to watch the competitors wrestle their chairs through the streets of Olten in Switzerland. Riders reach speeds of up to 30 miles an hour and travel on a downhill track with obstacles. Well, that's all for now. I'll be back with the lunchtime update just before 12:30. Until then, enjoy your morning. Bye-bye.